You're watching the Wellness Hour, news that makes you healthier. I'm Randy Alvarez. Today's topic, extreme smile makeovers. With us in studio, we have Dr. Aaron Miller. Dr. Miller, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to being here.
Now, I'm not trying to side with you, but we kind of flipped through your before and after photos in the green room, and they are extreme smile makeovers.
They sure are.
Now, today's topic of full mouth rehabilitation, I guess that's a dental term. Give us a working definition of what that means.
Yeah, so full mouth reconstruction or rehabilitation, that is just a dental term. We never say that to a patient. Really, what patients are interested in is a smile makeover. And so these are patients that have had teeth that are kind of breaking down. They've got bad teeth in general, but they're not to the point where they need them all removed yet. And looking at replacing all of their teeth. We're looking at options of maintaining what they have that's still good and building a new foundation from there.
Okay, good. Is it true, I think we talked about this on the phone, you said that a person's smile is never too far gone, their gums are never too bad, to give them or help them get the smile they've always wanted. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. I believe that 100%. Lots of patients come to us and they say, "Doc, this is probably the worst you've ever seen."
Oh, they do?
Oh, all the time. And they don't see that out in public and when they go throughout their day-to-day lives, because these patients typically they're not smiling.
So there's people with bad teeth all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And they just don't smile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You go to the grocery store and you look around, how many people do you see smiling where you know they have a good smile and good teeth? Maybe a couple, but how many other people in there you didn't see their teeth? And maybe their teeth are why they're not smiling. Okay,
do you spot it as a dentist? Can you see who's hiding their smile?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And when I meet with patients and talk with them about these smile makeovers, you know, oftentimes I try to keep the mood a little bit light, and I might crack a joke or something like that, and they start to laugh, and they forget that they're used to guarding their smile, and they'll start laughing and they realize I can see their teeth, and they might cover their mouth like this because they're embarrassed. And so in general, you might not see it a lot in public, but there are lots of patients out there that...
Okay. Now, after dental school, I guess the things we're talking about, these full mouth reconstructions, require a lot of training and a lot of experience. Is that correct? So you've kind of done a lot of training.
Yeah, absolutely. I've traveled all over the U.S. going to some of the best training centers specializing in smile makeovers. And in fact, in the near future, I'm going to Brazil.
Brazil?
Yep, to Brazil to work on furthering my skills on patients that have limited bone. So that way, a lot of patients might have been told by previous dentists or doctors that they don't have enough bone to get a smile makeover, or things of that nature, or their gum disease or the bacterial infections in their mouth are too advanced for the smile makeover. And really that is all for me to stay on the cutting edge to give patients the best results. And
you teach other, like what we're talking about today, you teach other dentists?
Yeah, absolutely. The group that I work with, they have offices across the country, and
you're the director of clinical development.
I'm the director of clinical development.
What does that mean?
So that means I oversee all of the training for the doctors that work with us and make sure all of them have a standard workflow that we all follow. And we follow certain protocols and principles to make sure we get repeatedly good results for patients. And so I do a lot of site visits where I'm in their office over the shoulder training them. And then I also do a lot of more virtual training and things of that nature.
So now you brought some photos.
Yep.
So what are we looking at?
So here we have a before photo from a patient that came into my office, and he was accompanied by his wife. His wife, in fact, was one of the big driving, motivating factors for him to finally come in. It seems like it had been in the front of their mind for a while, but sometimes patients, when they know they need something done, it's a big step of
especially
faith.
Men, do they wait to the last minute?
Oh, absolutely. Typically, it's their wife or spouse or partner is sick of hearing them whining about something, and they say, okay, enough of this, you're going in. And so this patient comes in, a couple main concerns that he had. One was his teeth were starting to get a little bit loose, and he was having trouble and difficulty eating foods that he really enjoyed. When you have teeth like this, you can't bite into an apple, or if you're eating a steak, chewing a steak, anything like that, you can't do.
Okay.
And so...
And those teeth look pretty bad. Is that unusual to see something like that?
That's not unusual. We see patients all the time in conditions like this, but very, very similar. I can't remember this patient in particular, what he said, but plenty of patients with situations just like this say, "Doc, this is the worst you've ever seen." I'm sure it is. There's no way it's not. And
it's because they don't see it.
Exactly.
Because they never smile.
Yeah.
Okay.
And over time, his teeth are getting, having some breakdown. This patient has a bacterial infection in his gums, gum disease. And when the bacteria and gum disease gets to a certain point, it can cause a bad odor or bad smell from your mouth. And that was another one of the contributing... His breath. And so patients in similar situations, they might notice a bad breath coming from their mouth, or they might have a spouse, a partner. Sometimes it might be a friend that smells it, and they might make fun of them and make the patient...
So because of the gum infection has an odor to it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So the bacteria building up in the gums, once it gets to a certain point, it has a bad odor, yeah. And it also starts to erode and break down the bone which holds the teeth in place. And that's why this patient started to have teeth that were loose, and he couldn't really bite into a steak, bite into an apple, eat fruits and veggies.
Okay.
And so he was looking for options. And we knew one of the first things we wanted to do as part of his smile makeover was to clean up the infections in his gum.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of health benefits with getting rid of that infection and bacteria. And when we talk about a smile makeover with a patient, they don't really fully know what to expect. But I've done enough of these and seen enough transformations with patients. I know when I'm sitting there talking with that patient, just as you and I are right now, I know what he's gonna look like.
Is that right?
And I can see how it's going to change his life.
Like they just think maybe they're going to be out of pain.
Yeah.
Be able to eat better, but it's more than that.
Yeah, I think most of the time they're like, okay, if I can eat more food, bite into some apples, whatever, yeah, it's going to be great. But I know how much it's going to improve his quality of life and all aspects of his life. And so I'm really excited for when I get to talk about this with the patient, because I know where we're heading, and they don't fully know what the end result's going to be like yet.
Let's take a look at that. Oh, wow. Totally different.
Yeah. So absolutely different person, right?
Yeah.
So when we look at these before and after photos, almost looks like two different people, right?
It does.
One of the things I can't help but notice in the before photo almost looks like a grimace of a smile, right?
Yeah.
It almost seems like it's unnatural. He's probably not used to smiling because he's self-conscious and doesn't want to show off his teeth or the bad smell that he was having coming from his mouth. And in the after photo, we see a different person. We see someone not holding back a smile. It looks like a natural smile. In the after photo, Randy, would you say he looks younger?
He does.
Would you say he looks more handsome, attractive?
Yes.
More successful?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just him that looks more handsome or the teeth kind of transform. Everybody looks better with teeth. And he even looks more educated in the after photo, right?
Okay, that's true.
That's what teeth do. If we look at the before photo, if you saw this man just past him on the street, would you have a certain impression or assumption that you'd make?
Yeah, a little bit.
Absolutely. And what about the after photo?
Yeah, looks like just a happier guy, friendlier guy, more approachable.
Yeah.
I always think we're talking on the phone how you were, and I always feel like dentists sometimes are exaggerating, but I think this proves it does make a big difference. So what does he say when this is all done? I mean, what's it like when they look at themselves in the mirror for the first time?
Yeah. Oftentimes it's a pretty emotional experience because it's something that maybe at some point in their life used to have, or maybe they've never had teeth in the smile that they were able to feel confident with. And this patient in particular, when we finished his smile makeover, two things stood out to me. One was he mentioned that he felt like we were the first people that really cared about him in his life.
That's nice.
And second was he mentioned that the only thing he regrets about the whole process was that he wishes he would have done it sooner.
What does the wife say? Because she was in on it. She talked him into doing this.
Yeah, I mean, she loves the new person he's become because before the way he carried himself was different, a little more reserved, quiet. Maybe I think he would also agree. Maybe some limited levels, like some depression, because he's self-conscious. He's held back for so many years.
And it's all over.
And it all done in a pretty short appointment, just one morning. And now I saw him recently for a follow-up visit. He got a new job. And I think of the trajectory of the life of the person in the before photo. I can see that going one direction, and I see the trajectory of his life from the after photo.
So where he ends up is going to be different because of his increased, I guess, charisma and self-esteem and things like that.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. Now, I know you have a stack of photos, so I'm going to rush you through these.
Okay. Let me show you this next patient, Randy.
All right.
So this patient comes to my office, and she's accompanied with her mom. And
is that her smile?
Well, that's her attempt at a smile, yes.
Okay.
And so two things that she was really interested in kind of getting addressed, two of her main problems. One was she's having trouble eating food. And if you look at that photo, we can see the teeth are kind of broken down. The way the bite comes together, not very ideal. So it's hard to eat and chew food when the teeth are broken down and they have a collapsed bite. But we see patients like that all the time. For us, pretty routine in getting patients like that, a new set of teeth that they can eat and chew with. The other aspect was she felt like aspects of her mental health were declining because of her teeth. She was embarrassed, self-conscious.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
They tell you this on the consult?
Yeah, some patients tell us that. And some patients also tell us they feel like they're judged.
Okay.
Like they go to an activity with family or friends or go to work, and if they give a big smile and someone sees their teeth, they feel like they feel like they're judged, which doesn't seem right. It's just their teeth, their mouth, but that's how they feel. And a lot of patients feel that way. So for her, we did a extreme smile makeover.
Wow.
And this is her after photo.
Big difference.
Massive difference. So let's look at these two photos side by side. We look at the before and after. Would you say she looks more sophisticated in the after?
Yes.
Would you say she looks healthier?
Yeah.
Happier?
Yeah.
More successful even?
Yeah.
And
more attractive.
More attractive, absolutely.
So that's everybody you say though.
Yeah.
Teeth make you look better.
Yes, teeth do make you look better. Once we finished her smile makeover, she made a joke with me and my team about, all right, now you got to find me a boyfriend. And so we haven't done that yet, but maybe one day. And oftentimes patients are worried about the timeline of how long it might take, or if they have to bounce around between offices. One of the nice things about how we do it is everything is done in one office, start to finish. So patients like this with teeth like that, you can't even eat a salad. And
is that right?
Absolutely. And one of the things this patient, she mentioned to us is she had a trip planned to Italy that she wasn't going to go on unless she had her teeth fixed. And people do that all the time when they avoid things because they don't want to be in a situation where they might have to be embarrassed or have someone see them in a certain condition.
So how was the Italy trip? Did she tell you?
Yeah, she told us it was amazing. She's like, that was the best thing I ever did. And she was very grateful that she could eat and chew whatever she wants. And that's a totally different person going to Italy and being social with friends, out and about. That's like the old her of years ago, and that old self had been covered up for a long time. She's a very charismatic person, and it's not that we gave her charisma. It's just that we uncovered it, right, with
Very
the
nice.
smile. We have lots of patients that cover a broad range of ages.
Like how old?
Anywhere from like 30 to late 90s.
Okay.
The oldest patient I've done a smile makeover on is 97 years old.
Is that right?
And some patients tell me, I'm too old for this. And it's like they're 50 years old and they still have a lifetime to live ahead of them, right? And all of these patients have so much to benefit from. The 97-year-old patient, he wanted to be able to, he bowls recreationally. And so he's in a bowling league and he wants to be able to eat and socialize with his friends while he's at the bowling alley, you know?
So you're never too old?
You're never too old for implants. Let me show you this
right.
this other before photo here. So this is a patient. He came to our office. He was having a terrible time eating. He's got a couple partials. When he tries to bite into something, it's getting food stuck under the partials. That it's moving around, causing him some pain, some discomfort. He'd lost some of the teeth due to bacterial infections in his gums. And so he was looking for options. He really didn't know. He thought he might be headed towards just dentures and getting the teeth pulled. And so we educated him on the smile makeover and what we can do for him. And take a look at this after, Randy.
It's looking good. He looks a lot younger too.
Yeah, he looks like 20 years younger. So this patient, if we look in his after, he's got a full set of teeth now. The bite comes together perfect. He can eat whatever he wants. He can go to a steakhouse, get a prime rib, a ribeye, and he can eat that and be able to actually chew it and not have to worry about a partial or his teeth being sensitive or moving around and not being able to actually chew his food.
How many years do people usually, like in your office?
Yeah.
Like, do they say, I haven't liked my teeth for 10 years or 15 years? Is it a long time sometimes?
It's usually a long time because for things over time will progressively break down, right? And it's usually over a longer period of time, but in some instances, it's a short period of time and they're just like, you know what? I want to be done with this once and for all. Let's get this thing done and let's see what options are available. And that's when all of those cases we can do smile makeovers. So.
Okay, let's take a look at more of the photos. Good stuff.
So this woman comes to our office. She wants to be able to smile. She wants to look good. And so her main driving factor was really just the appearance, right?
Okay.
And we can see here she's got a couple broken down teeth, missing teeth, and she's kind of having to, she doesn't like the way it looks, and she feels like some friends might be judging her. So with a combination of procedures, we can do a smile makeover and really address all of her concerns. And I know one of her main concern was the appearance, right?
Let's take a look.
She just wanted teeth to look good, but I know in my mind, she's not just going to look good. She's going to love how much food she can now actually properly chew and enjoy.
Looks good.
What would you say, looking at the before and after, would you say she looks younger?
Yeah,
in
a little
the
younger.
after?
Definitely happier.
Prettier?
Yeah.
The smile looks much different to me. And not just the teeth, all of the facial expressions, right? She feels much more... She appears to feel much more confident and comfortable in her smile and in her body now. This patient, one of her concerns was the pain of anything associated with the smile makeover. And in general, we get the patients numb.
Okay.
We also can do sedation if that's what they're interested in. Most cases, we do some form of sedation. And she woke up to a new smile, right?
That's very nice.
Yeah, and so for the patient, most patients, they always make a comment, that was easier than I thought.
Okay.
And it winds up actually being quite an easy process for the patient. Typically, the hardest part is just coming in to find out what options are available. But once we get the process started, patients are always pleased with how smooth and seamless it is. I want to show you this other before photo here, Randy. This one is on a young man here. He had some bad experiences at the dentist. Like a lot of people, they don't love the dentist, right?
Yeah.
And there's a number of reasons why people don't like them, but he had teeth broken down, and he's in a young prime age to be dating, getting developing in his career, and he kind of felt like that was limiting where he was, what his potential was. And so this patient, he wanted to be sedated for it, so we offer that for our patients as well. And so he woke up to a new smile, and here's our after photo.
So these are all like custom made? Are you in on this process?
Yep, absolutely. So the way our office does it, we have 3D scanning technology. We have intraoral scanners. So you know the goop that you hate when you're younger, go to the dentist, they put that impression tray in with that goop.
Yeah.
You feel like you're gagging on it. No more of that.
That's gone?
That's gone.
Okay.
All digital technology, so no more goop, and patients always love that. And we also have 3D printers in our office, so we can even make a crown right next door if we need to.
Is that right? Okay.
Absolutely. And the nice part about that is it makes the process more efficient and just an overall better experience for the patient. So let me tell you how it typically is done in dentistry is, let's say you need a root canal. You go to a specialist for the root canal, and then you go to another doctor for a buildup in the crown. And you might even go to another doctor for follow-up and maintenance care.
Okay.
But in our office, we do everything in-house.
Right there.
And so they come to us for all things, and even the follow-up care they come to us for.
You even make cosmetic dentures. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Like a better fitting denture.
Yes, absolutely. We make cosmetic dentures all the time. And so some patients come to us, they might have an old, broken, worn down denture if they're already in dentures, or if they're looking just for a denture in general. And we use all of our digital technology to customize a smile and a bite that is perfect for them.
Okay.
And yeah, so we do that very, very often.
All right, time for one more photo. We have probably 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Okay, sounds good. Here's another patient. He came to our office, and he had teeth he couldn't eat with, right? And the bite wasn't coming together properly, and he's interested in a smile makeover. We custom make a smile, design a smile that's going to be fit for his body. And take a look at this after here.
Very nice.
And now he can eat and chew whatever he wants. Let me show you one more here, Randy.
All right, one more.
This man here, he came to us, couldn't eat, couldn't chew, is just having some problems with. He's got some gum infections, some bacterial infections in his mouth and his gums. And look at his after here.
Looking good.
And the transformation, and anybody that sees the before and after can see the drastic difference.
It is. And he's another guy that looks younger.
Absolutely.
From this procedure. Now, I know you have a stack more of photos to go, but we're limited on time. So what do you say to the person watching this? They have really bad teeth, really bad gums, gum infection, and maybe they're without hope. They think nothing can be done. They've heard what you have to say. They're watching this, but they're still skeptical or maybe afraid about pain or whatever. What do you say to them?
There's no situation where whatever you have going on in your mouth, with your teeth, with your gums, where it's too far gone. And the hardest part is just taking the step to come in and find out what options you have available to you, because we see patients day in and day out that have very, very similar conditions as to what these patients have, that someone might be thinking that. And we help them out all the time, and we can do smile makeovers on all of these.
Do they get to see you on the appointment?
Yep, absolutely. They'll see me at every visit.
So it's a free consultation. Come in, know your options. And where do you prefer? Do you prefer they go to your website and make an appointment, or just contact your office?
You can do either. You can go to our website, or you can contact our office. Either way, you can book online on the website or call one of my staff. When you call our office, you'll get a hold of one of my front desk staff. Randy, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but let me show you.
You got about 30 seconds.
Let me show you one more here. So this patient, he can't eat or chew, bite into anything he enjoys, and so we do an extreme smile makeover on him, and that's immediately after the procedure there. The before photo won't even look eyes at the camera, and the after photo staring straight at the camera.
Now, we've talked, and you say that, dental insurance for the most part is very limited. Medicare, Medicaid doesn't really cover this at all. But you say people are financing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that right?
Yeah, most of our patients, probably 80-90% of our patients are financing this. That's kind of the new norm of how patients are doing it, especially when they realize how much it's going to impact their life. And we have a lot of different financing options in our office. And so
you help set that up for them?
Yep, we help them set that up for them.
You have to have okay credit?
If you have decent credit, patients don't have a problem financing this.
Okay, great. So final message to somebody, really bad teeth and gums, right? And they don't like going to the dentist. They've heard what you have to say, but for whatever reason, they're afraid. What do you say to them?
I just welcome them into our office to find out what their options are. All these patients that we looked at some of their photos, they didn't know what their options were until they came in, and look at the transformations that they experienced. And so for those people that might be thinking that, just come in, we can talk through options. It's a complimentary consultation. Okay. And we'll come up with a game plan. If we need to, we can kind of come up with a couple different game plans on what to kind of meet the patient where they're at.
And you also have a price match guarantee. Is that right?
Yep, absolutely. So we do a price match guarantee. And Randy, we know what the big guys are charging for these and for these smile makeovers, and we charge about 20 to 30% less. And so
good for you.
For patients that are worried about financing, come in. We're going to help you out. We'll talk through financing, and just come in. Let us talk about options with you.
All right, great. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Good stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks. You're watching the Wellness Hour, news that makes you healthier. I'm Randy Alvarez for now. I wish you good health.